All right, guys. Coach is heading in right now. Coach, we are ready whenever you are.
Okay, good. Really, the only players that didn't practice today were Lucas, Yang, and then Clyde. So Lucas obviously has a ruptured patellar tendon, so he's not going to play. But Clyde again has a chance to. So we'll just keep rehabbing that, making sure that it gets better. We look forward to the challenge of playing the Broncos again. Good football team, one of the better defenses in the National Football League for sure, and their offense with Locke back in there, he's been playing good football too. So they've got and their receivers will probably most likely be coming back, so they'll be fully loaded for us when we go out there. So our guys had a good day today and preparation, and again look forward to that challenge of playing a good football team. With that, time's yours.
Go first to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy. It sounds like Orlando Brown was back to work today. Just wanted to see what happened to him in pregame and how much did he do in practice today. You anticipate him being ready to go on Saturday? And Brad, I'll have another question as well.
Yeah, he did everything today. Again, he had tweaked his calf, which is, that's not a fun thing to tweak before the game. So, and he's a tough kid who loves to play the game. So if he says he's got something, then there's something there. But he was out there today and going. So we'll just see, Adam, as we go through the week.
Okay. And we'd asked you right after the game in Cincinnati about your decision not to let the Bengals score toward the end of the game. And I get that it was right at the end of the game and it was kind of an emotional time for you. Just wondered, after you've thought about it for a couple of days, have you changed your mind at all about how that end of that game came about?
Yeah, you know what, Adam, I've mentioned this to the team and I'm going to mention it to you. I've moved on. We're on to the Broncos and it's a short week. And so we're past that and going forward.
Let's go to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy. Obviously, another AFC team this week. When you look at just how the AFC shapes out, you guys have pretty much played almost every other team that is leading its division or at the top of this. Now that you've got a full taste of it, how would you size up the AFC and just the caliber and the depth of that conference this year?
Yeah, no, it's great competition. So these teams have done a nice job of bringing in good players. We got some good young quarterbacks in the league right now to kind of fill in for the old guys that are leaving. So it's great for the NFL. It's great for the fans and great for competition.
Let's go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Coach, I wonder just what moving this game to Saturday, what sort of effect that has on you guys this week. I know it moves everything up a little bit, but you won't have a chance to see the scoreboard during the Titans game. You can't maybe rest guys. I'm assuming you guys are playing to win this game to try to put the pressure on the Titans to win.
We're going to try to do our best for us, and so we can keep getting better, and that's where we're at. Not for anybody else. So we've got to have a good week of practice. Don't care if it's Saturday, Sunday, whenever we're playing, we're playing. That's the kind of locker room I've got. They roll with it. It's a little bit of a sudden change for everybody involved, the whole organization getting ready. But Denver's doing the same thing. So, and they want to win the game too. So that's we've got to make sure we're ready for them.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. How are you?
Good, Herbie.
Hey, we haven't had an update on Mike Remmers for a while, landed on injured reserve in mid-November. How was his progress? And the second part of that question, what is the hope you might be able to get him back in time for the playoffs, given the offensive line depth?
Yeah, so his back's feeling a little bit better as he goes. So we'll just see. He's another one that's a real tough kid. just like what I mentioned about Orlando, and you know that he's trying to get back. So I mean, if he could be out there, he'd be out there wanting to play. Those guys, I have no questions on. So, but he's still, it's still sensitive right now, but it's making progress.
We've got three more. We'll go right down the line, starting with Pete. Go ahead, Pete.
Coach, I was wondering upon your second look, if you could just comment on how Nick Allegretti performed, and then Joe Tooney a little out of position there for you on Sunday in your second look there.
Yeah, so I thought the offensive line in general did a good job, and those guys for having to jump in and in Allegretti's situation, and Joe having to jump over to the left tackle spot. I mean, my hat goes off to them. They did a nice job.
Let's go next to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Coach, kind of following up on Todd's question a little bit. You've had games flexed on a Sunday before, but moving a day is a little bit different. Are you a fan of this format that the NFL's gone to, with Saturday games in the last week and this flex scheduling, that you might be moved in a situation like this and kind of throwing a curveball in the last week of the season?
Yeah, well, this I guess COVID's helped us in that area. So being able to hang in the box and swing at curveballs and not bail out. So we're a little bit used to the sudden change. It just affects a lot of people. I'm talking about from Mark Donovan on down to all of us. Everybody's got to move things around and organize. And we're lucky to have a good organization with guys that like to work, and Brett Veach and so on. All the guys that the heads of their department really bust their tail to make sure it goes smooth. And as a head coach, I appreciate that.
We'll go last to Steve Walls. Good, Steve.
Hey, Coach. A question about Sunday's game. Wanted to find out, you guys got off to a quick start, right? And then kind of tapered off in the second half. Wanted to know if there's something specific that Cincinnati did on film that you saw, which is why you guys only scored 3 points in the second half.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say they didn't do a good job, but it wasn't anything different. We had too many mistakes in there, kind of self-inflicted wounds there, and we've got to make sure we take care of some of those. Starts with me, and so I've got to make sure I do a better job, and the guys, right with me on that. So,
Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll have Patrick coming our way next. All right, Patrick. We'll start first with Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Patrick, I know that there had to been a little bit of a downer in losing control here, a little bit of the AFC, and I was just wondering, based upon your look at practice today, how do you feel like the guys are responding to that adversity?
Yeah, I mean, I think guys are ready to go. We understand that we still can go out there and do whatever we want to do. It's just going to take us being better and better each and every week, and we know it's still going to be a tough game this weekend. The Broncos playing in Denver is always a tough game, so we're going to focus on trying to win this week, and then we'll let the playoffs kind of handle itself.
Let's go next to Mick Schaefer. Go ahead, Mick.
Hey, Patrick, we saw you a couple times on Sunday kind of stump for some calls. I think it was after the one to Kelsey over the middle and when Tyreek went down. I'm curious, what's your approach with the officials in year 5 now? How much do you stump for calls or protest, and how do you go about it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I protest or anything like that. I like to ask and see what they saw. And like on that play right there, it was just kind of, he said it was incidental tripping and stuff like that. I mean, it's a tough job that they have. I mean, they're seeing a lot of the best athletes in the world flying around with a lot of contact and stuff going on. But, I mean, sometimes I'm disappointed that I didn't get the call that I thought that we should get. But that's part of the game. And at the end of the day, I'd rather them let us play more than anything.
Let's go next to Karen Kornacki. Go ahead, Karen.
Hi, Patrick.
How are you doing?
Good to see you. Just a two-part in that you guys have been so successful against Denver. When you look at what has worked against them, what do you think it is? And two, can you talk about that defense? Even without Von Miller, there's a still pretty strong group.
Yeah, I mean, we've been successful as far as winning games, but they're always hard fought battles. And like you said, that defense, I mean, they got playmakers everywhere, and they run a great scheme. They have a great defensive coordinator. They have a great defensive head coach, and they have a good feel for playing against us since we play so much. So it's always a tough fought battle for us. A great football team, great defense, and playing in Denver is never easy. So we found ways to win games at the end of games a lot of the times here, but we always know it's going to be a great challenge for us.
Let's go next to James Palmer. Go, James.
Patrick, kind of with that said, I'm curious what the quarterback's perspective is going against a Vic Fangio defense. It's kind of spreading throughout the NFL, right, what he runs. So what does that scheme do that makes it so difficult? And then this being your last regular season game, is this the style of defense and difficulty you'd like heading into the postseason for your offense?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it will be a great challenge for us. I think what he does so well is they have a great understanding of what you do as an offense. I mean, obviously they play a lot of shells and kind of combo zone coverages with a little bit of man sprinkled in there. But I think he has a good feel for what you want to do as an offense. I think he's obviously the top. He's done it for the longest. But he has a great feel of like, this is what you do. I'm going to have guys in this area. This is what you do. I'll have guys in this area. And so that's something that he does a great job with, as well as they have great players. So he has does a good job of assembling a great team and does a great job of scheming a great defense.
We've got 3 more going right down the line, starting with Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick. Offensively as a whole, the way you guys have played the past 5-6 weeks now, is it any extra rewarding based on sort of the turbulence you had to face, the way you've come through it now?
Yeah, in a sense. I mean, we've played good football these last few weeks. I still think we can be better. I still think we've played great halves or great couple quarters. We haven't played that great full game yet. So I think that would be something that we'll continue to work on. You want to be the best going into the playoffs. And I think offensively we've gotten better and better as the season's gone on. And we've played against a lot of different defenses. So we'll be ready for anything coming into this last week and into the playoffs.
Go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Earlier this year, Patrick, I know you mentioned that you were trying to work on your footwork and obviously get into a chemistry with the offensive line being so new. I just wonder how you felt you've improved your pocket presence as the season's gone along, and what techniques have led to you being a better quarterback and understanding where you're protected, no matter whether or how the defensive line is doing.
Yeah, no, I think I've done first of all, I've gotten more familiar with the offensive line in general. I mean, just being able to play behind those guys, go to battle with them, getting a good feel for them definitely helps out a ton. And then I think I've just continued to work on the fundamentals. Coach Kafka's kind of ingrained that in me as the season's gone on. And I think I've gotten better as of late because of that. And so trying to figure out that right balance of when to scramble and run and do that stuff. And then when to stay in the pocket and make the throw is something that I'll always work on. But I definitely think I've gotten better as these weeks have gone on.
We'll go last to Vahe. Go ahead, Vahe.
Hey, Patrick, sort of related. As you look back on the season so far, what do you think your personal greatest challenge has been, and what do you think your biggest area of growth has been as a quarterback yourself?
I mean, first off, I don't know about what personal challenge, but I think the biggest area of growth is that I've just learned to be patient. I've learned to take what's there, take the underneath stuff. Probably the most I've ever thrown to the running back and stuff like that. And I'm such having an aggressive nature. I want to push the ball down the field, but defenses have forced me to learn how to drive the length of the field. And I think we've done a great job of that as the season's gone on. Is we've made a lot of big drives happen. We've drove the length of the field, but we haven't lost our explosiveness. And whenever defenses do present man coverage or single to the middle zone coverage where they come down and give us a chance to throw it deep, I think we're still hitting those. And so finding that right balance, I think that's been a big growth for me to learn to take what's there, but also keep that aggressiveness.
Patrick, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll have Hitch coming your way next. Hitch is coming down in a couple minutes here, guys. All right, guys. Hitch is coming in right now. All right, Hitch, you ready for us?
Yep.
All right. We'll start first with Miss Karen Kornacki. Good, Karen.
Hi, Hitch. How are you?
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, first of all, can you talk a little bit about their quarterback, Drew Lock? Do you see any difference in him now that he's back with the reins after, kind of having to take a back seat, but now coming back? Is he different than what you've studied with him before?
Yeah, I mean, he's growing as a player, just like most of the guys do in this league. The longer you in, the better you can play and read stuff. But deep down, he's still aggressive. He loves the deep ball and things like that. So, I mean, yeah, it's similar. A lot of same what he was a year ago or so. But I think he improved just learning the game, as a whole.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Anthony. Just wanted to ask you, it seems like there were some issues with defensively against Cincinnati, like in terms of missed tackles, penalties, those kinds of things that you hadn't seen from the Chiefs in big numbers recently. Just wondering, what was it about that game? Just a bad day? Was something about Cincinnati? Was it something happened in week of preparation? Anything you can point to for maybe why those things popped up again in such big numbers?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of a lot of things. Obviously, we got to give our credit to Cincinnati, and they have great players over there that made some good plays. But, for us as a defense, we need to tackle better and then eliminate the self-wounded penalties and things like that. So penalties are part of the game. We just couldn't overcome them last week. So, but for us, we're really focusing on our tackling, and I'm hitting yards. I don't know how many hitting yards they had after missed tackles, and I know that led to field goals and touchdowns. So for us, we need to tackle better.
Let's go next to Todd Lebo. Go ahead, Todd.
Hey, Hitch, when you guys were getting down near the end of the game against the Bengals, you start looking up and you see the clock and where it is and the kind of the situation in the field. Did it start getting in your head anywhere that it might be time to let them score to get the ball back to your offense, or do you have time to think about those things when you're out there on the field?
Yeah. Actually, right before they took a knee, we was going to let them score. We call it freeway. So we was trying to stop them, obviously, and then once they got the penalty and got a first and from the one, we was going to freeway and let them score and try to give the ball back to our offense and pat. But they did the smart thing and just nailed it out and then end up kicking the field goal. But yeah, at first you always want to go and trying to stop it. Then when the situation is right, Spags let me know in the headsets that we were just going to freeway it, but they end up taking a knee and kicking the field goal. So it really didn't come into play.
We'll go next to Mick and then finish with Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Mick.
Just piggybacking off of Todd's question there, Anthony, how chaotic is it? It was crazy watching it as a player in the middle of it. How chaotic is it trying to pay attention to down and distance and position and the clock and what a field goal would mean at that moment and what a touchdown would mean and all that? Is it tough to kind of to wrap your arms around all those factors in the final minute of the game?
Yeah, to be honest, maybe a couple of years ago it'd have been chaos and stuff, but I done seen a lot of football and a lot of different situations and scenarios. So I mean, I'm pretty even kill. To be honest, it's not as fast as you think when you're actually out there. It's more chaotic when you're from a distance watching it. But I mean, I think we all handled that pretty well. If you just look at the guys, we fought all the way to the end. Obviously, there's a lot of things we got to clean up. But I mean, that situation, those stops we was making is, just shows you what type of guys we have on this team. And we just gonna learn from it. But I don't think no one panicked or anything like that. We rose up to the occasion. I mean, a penalty here and there, that could be a whole different ballgame.
Let's go last to Matt Derrick. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Hitch, I know you're going to play wherever they tell you to play and when they ask you to play. But is there any frustration that with the scheduling that, you get less than really 6 days notice that you're going to play on a Saturday in the last week of the season when you're trying to get ready for the playoffs? And when did you guys find out that you were going to be playing this game?
Yeah, I think we all found out at the same time. Yesterday, I think from early yesterday, to be honest. Yeah, and to be honest, when we lost, I'm kind of glad we could get back at it real quick and we can get rid of that loss and then turn the page. But yeah, I mean, it's football. You got to be able to adjust in this day and age, and with whether it's COVID issue or whether it's flexing games and switching games and things like that. So yeah, we're ready. I mean, Coach Reid did an amazing job taking care of our bodies the second half of the season. So when Saturday roll around, we're gonna be ready to roll.
Hitch, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us.
All right, see you guys.
All right, guys, hang on the line for me for 1 second, and I'm gonna jump back on here.